Alright, welcome back. Let's talk film now. We already see a couple of videos, and I think everywhere you find in YouTube, it's gonna be a video about how to put the film in this thing. But what I'm gonna do is how to advance film and other little, little advices that we can do. So there's two ways to advance film. And first of all, if it's a multiple exposure mode, then it doesn't matter how much you try, the film is not gonna advance. That's one thing. So you have to come out of the multiple exposure mode, put it on normal mode, and this would force the crank to go to the next exposure. Now, there's two ways to advance it. You can either do this and take your shoot, or you can grab this little handle right here and spin it, as you please, until it stops. So when it finds the next exposure, when it's completed, then it will stop, and you cannot move it until you do your next shoot, your next exposure, and then you can wind to the next frame. There is two backs, film holder backs over here. There is many other types. There's obviously the 110 film, the 220 film, and there is the other ones for the 645, and there's a couple of different adapters for these backs. But in between them, even there's two type of back mounters, and this one over here, it says Mamiya RZ67 Professional 120, and I have this other one over here, and this one over here says Mamiya RZ67 Professional 2. So what is the difference between the professional and the two? Apparently nothing really much. I mean, it seems like it has everything the same. They look pretty similar, everything, almost thing, except for one little thing over here. You see that hole there? This doesn't have it. Both of the RZ67 can rotate the back, but the RZ67 Pro II, which comes with this film holders, it comes with this new addition to the film holder where you can see it from portrait mode as well. So you can see it from the top. You see the numbers that will be spinning in here, and if you rotate it to the top, you will be able to see the numbers on the right side. So in part I kind of find it interesting, but in part, if you're used to see the photo number, your number counts, if you used to see it on this side because this is where it was here, and then you suddenly switch to portrait mode, now you gotta focus yourself on here. I mean, it's not a thing that of life and death difference, but it's something that I would like to see, more of a constant way, like on the back side, left side, back side of the camera is where I see my numbers, instead of, it depends on if I'm shooting portrait or landscape mode, if I see my numbers on the right or the left side of the camera. That's okay. I'm just ranting a little bit about that, but it's not a big deal, and I don't really use it that much. I mean, if I really need to see how many pictures I have left, I don't really care to see it even from a little bit to the side or whatever, because anyway I will have to check this from time to time, where I can just twist the camera a little bit and just check the number. But I guess it's a cool thing that you can see a number from the top. I have shot a lot of film on this, and either or, it doesn't really bother me to have one or two windows. It doesn't really make, to me, that much of a difference. I don't know if some of you find it really helpful to have that extra window separated like half an inch to the side. I mean, but if it's your thing, by all means go ahead. Now, winding, you can either do it with here or over here. If you wind with this, after taking an exposure, that means that the mirror is not it's not gonna be down, and the shutter mechanism over here is not gonna be cranked. So even that you go to the next exposure, you're not able to take a picture unless you crank this thing. Now, if you already move this to your next exposure and you want to crank this, don't be afraid that you're gonna go okay, I advanced over here, I went to the next exposure, and now I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go to a jump in exposure. It doesn't happen like that. It's not like that. If you advance the exposure like this and it's limited, it will stop you there. When you move the crank, it would only work with the mirror and the shutter mechanism over here. So it will leave this alone until the next exposure is done. So that's a little bit of a relief. I want to talk about unloading the exposed film. 120 and 220 film, which are being used in this type of film holders, it's not like 35 millimeter film. The 35 millimeter film has a stripe and it has little holes where like there's guides that would like pull the film and push the film and help them to move, right? This film for this well, the medium format film, the larger film, it doesn't come with those little holes. So if you advance, you know, this thing or this, if you advance the film very rapidly, like you just go like, oh, I want to shoot like quick, then you just like crank this thing super fast, or just like push it. Like if you do it really fast, then you have the chance to skip spacing between the frames, and then the space between the frames may become shorter or longer or just uneven. I mean, it will, even if you do it really fast, it will stop you eventually, but because, you know, it may slip, because everything is just about pulling this thing. So just do it as a normal speed. I think it will be just, this is a normal speed. You know, when you can take your picture and you crank it, you know. So that's why I like this camera, is it just slows you down. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Don't be rushing yourself with this up. To take out the film over here, I went ahead and I put a non-exposed film, and we saw this in a previous video. So you just pull this out and you push this. This is not exposed, but when you finish your exposure, it will be on this side, and you press the button in there, you pull it out, right? So let's say you are not done with the film yet. Let's say you are like halfway through with it. There's still some numbers, and you want to get it out. You're like, okay, you know, the purpose of this film was to shoot this, and I need to get this film out because, I don't know, maybe it was black and white and I need color and I don't have another color thing, and I really need to shoot color right now. So whatever I shot in black and white, that's it. I'm happy with it. I need to move on, and I need to put some color film in there, or vice versa. I'm done with the colors and I need some black and whites, or, you know, different ISOs or whatever. Like it's getting nighttime and I'm not gonna get any shot unless I put a higher ISO. So you need to change the film by any means. You need to take the film out and put something else, and you will just want to finish the film, right? So it's halfway done. The film is obviously open. It's all this, you know, it's not all rolled in here. So what can you do? Once you have the film in there, this thing over here has a little button in there, right in the middle. And if you have film and it's not ready yet, button will be popped out. So all you do is just press that button and wind it. If you press it one time and let it go, and you know, it will wind until what next frame. So you can either leave it on, press it, or do it frame by frame until it's the whole roll of film is on the ending side. And I think that's a pretty helpful thing, because you don't always get into that situation. Sometimes you're like, ah, damn it, I need to shoot everything, and you just start shooting random things just for the heck of finishing the film and wasting your time, right? You don't need to go ahead and click. You could just do it manually as well, to put all this here. Obviously, you can just shoot it, but you know, if you don't want to do that, you can go ahead and do it this way as well. You know, there's a little kind of prevention kind of thing, and that will be for that video. See you next video.